Why does it look like part of like a Thanksgiving turkey? I'm gonna go make turkey legs. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I am Beth, and this is Spiral Path Arts. And today I have a fun little project, and it's something that I've seen a lot of on social media and ads and all the things. And what it is one of those craft pillows. Now, if you're of a certain age and had children, and actually even now have babies, you may have seen these and went, well, these have been around for a while. And they're, what the baby ones are called boppies, and they're like U-shaped pillows that you kind of put on your lap around your waist, and helps you hold your baby while you're nursing. And you can also use it for the baby to sit in when they're starting to sit up and give them a little more stabilization. That's how I've always seen these pillows, but now I'm seeing them advertised and used as craft pillows. And with all the hand stitching that I have been doing and embroidery that I've been doing, I realized that that would come in really handy. Because one, I was getting like a lot of tension in my shoulders and pain in my neck from holding my arms up to crochet, to knit, to embroider. And also I found when I was embroidering that when I wanted to do like French knots or bullion knots or anything like that, where I had to kind of stick the needle in the fabric and then manipulate the floss around it, that I was grabbing a couch pillow and putting it on my lap and sticking it in that. So I thought, rather than going out and buying one, because that's not what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make one because I have lots of fabric around here and figured it's just like a crescent moon shaped pillow. So that's what we're gonna make today. So I've gathered some supplies, so let me go through what I have. First of all, I have to choose a fabric. And I want something, well, first of all, I want a insert. I want to be able to take the cover off and wash it. So I thought I bought some old sheets at the thrift store a while back. And so I have a sheet that I can use just as my pillow form for the inside of it. And then for the exterior, well, I kind of thought, well, what do I want it to be? I want it to be soft because my arms are going to be resting on it and moving, so I don't want anything rough or scratchy or abrasive because that'll annoy me as I'm working. I would also like it to be kind of flexible because it's got to have the form stuffed in it. It's going to have to take kind of a shape, so I thought something kind of stretchy or flexible would work. It has to be fairly durable because, again, I'm going to probably be sticking needles in it and things like that, but it doesn't have to be like super duper durable. On that note, it also needs to be easy care because I want to be able to take the cover off, throw it in the wash, and wash it. So what did I come up with? I cleaned out my closet, and when I switched my summer clothes to my winter clothes, and I found these, they're like overall things, like a jumpsuit, and they're really loose and they're really flowy, and they're just out of a knit interlocky kind of, well, actually French terry sort of thing, and they've gotten kind of pilled, and it was time for them to go. So I'm hoping that there is, I know there's enough fabric here, but I hope there's enough fabric here that I can use it without too much seaming. I'd like to keep this as upcycled and as inexpensive as possible. So then, of course, the other things that I will need will be something to draw a pattern on. And it's post-holidays. Maybe you have a roll of Christmas wrapping paper that you can use the back side. Whatever you have that you can draw a pattern on. And of course, a pencil and a Sharpie or a marker. Okay. Oh, and a zipper, if you want to put a zipper in it to make it easy to take on and off, but you don't have to. If you don't like putting in zippers, especially it's going to be kind of a curved edge, just leave an opening to the insert into and then whip stitch it shut easy enough to unpick that, to take it off to wash it, no problem. And of course you're going to need to stuff it. So again, trying to upcycle, reuse, not have to go out and buy anything, and to clean out some of the space in my sewing room. I have a bag here of, this is just some of that cotton interlock that I made some things out of last year, and it's literally like, this is the trimmings from the serger and just all the little bits that are too small to do anything else with. And I know that these, if I stuff this in really firm, it'll make a nice firm pillow, because that's the other thing. I want the surface to be pretty firm to, again, stick things into and kind of hold its shape. And if this isn't enough, there's always more scraps somewhere else in my house. So we will go with that. So let's start by drafting a pattern. I'm still figuring out camera angles and the best way to shoot these videos, so please bear with me. All right, I'm just going to make this straight line here so that I have, it's going to be my center line. And then, how deep do I want it from my belly? You know, how much working depth do I want? I think 12 inch, 12 inches seems like a reasonable depth. And I think actually, can you see me? I think I'm actually going to do, this is going to be one line, can you see that? I'm going to go 14, and I'm using the grid lines on my mat underneath. So if that's at 2, 14 will be the 16 grid mark. Okay, so that's the depth. Plus it's got to kind of go around because, you know, it's going to be round shaped like a pillow, and seam allowances. I think that's going to give me plenty. I know that, like, from the center line out, I'm going to go about, I'm just kind of guessing here. I want it to be, I don't want it to be too big. Well, we'll start at 10. Oh wait, I'm going to have to, I have to go up. It's probably up. I'm gonna have to go up here. This is not going to be my line because I have to have the inner circle. If I think 8, we're going to go in here somewhere like that. I can kind of just, I think I'm just going to kind of draw. Yeah, that works. Draw an arc like that. I'm going to just go to the edge of my paper. And then this part, I'm just going to kind of, I want it rounded at the ends. And it gets narrower when it gets back here. I may move this up a little bit. I may go up more like that so that I have more on the sides. I think that's going to work. And then round that down. I don't want it too wide at the sides because I want to be able to, like if I'm sitting in a chair, I want to be able to not have it not fit. So we're going to go about there, I think. My rule of thumb is you can always take off. You can make it smaller, but you can't, it's harder to add back on. Okay, so this is like my little side of my body. We're not going to do this. So we're going to cross out that line. And then I'm going to, let's see if you can see. I think you can. I'm going to bring this up to here. Just, okay. And this is my fold line. That feels right. That feels good. Again, we'll figure it out. I cut my pattern out. Now I can take this, hold it up, kind of see, yeah, I think it's gonna come around just right. Next step is to cut it out of the inner fabric. That's going to be the pillow form. Actually going to need 2 of those pieces. So a top and a bottom, front and a back. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is this, try to get it folded as straight as I can. So here I have my interior pillow form fabric, old sheet. I have 4 layers and the folds are here to my right. And I'm going to put my pattern piece on here. And take my scissors, cut it out. And I just realized I didn't really add seam allowances to this, but I'm not going to worry about it. I worry about very little when it comes to this kind of thing. Okay, get that out of the way. Now I should have 2 pillow shapes. I considered if I needed to like incorporate darts to make it depth-wise, but I'm hoping there's enough flexibility in this fabric that I can just stuff it and get the rounded shape. I think I can. I think there's enough flexibility. Now that I have my 2 pillow form pieces cut, I'm going to just go and sew all the way around them, leaving an opening probably on the inside here, edge, the inside of the curve for stuffing, or maybe the edge. It doesn't matter, just leave a hole big enough to get your hand in and to get it stuffed. So let me go do that at the sewing machine and I'll come back to you and we will stuff it, see how the shape works. If we like it, then we'll go on and use the same pattern to cut the outer fabric. So we have this sewn together, find my opening, and I'm going to turn right side out. Okay. And then we're going to start stuffing. I'm going to start with this cotton interlock. I might need to chop it up a little more, but let's just see what we have. I also have this entire bag of more offcuts, little bits. So if I run out of fabric scraps to stuff this with, I do have a pillow that I can deconstruct and use the stuffing out of that. So I'm just going to take a handful, it's going to make a mess, stuff it in. And you want to start, from the furthest from the opening, up here in the sides, which look like they might need to be perhaps wider, but we'll see. Some kind of poking tool, chopstick, something like that can be helpful to get it up here into the corners. because you want it stuffed pretty firm. Okay, I'm gonna keep stuffing and come back when it's all stuffed and we'll test it, see if this works. And I'm thinking I'm realizing as I'm doing this, that if I used a sturdier, little bit thicker than a sheet fabric, you don't need to make the inside and the cover, but I just know in my house having something washable would be probably the best solution to all of this. So I am going to keep stuffing and we'll see. I'll see you back here in just a second because this is going to take a while. And yeah, but so far I have a nice little sausage. I think this is going to work. All right, see you in a second. I have it stuffed and I have a few notes on this. Kind of looks like a turkey, like from, I don't know. Why does it look like part of like a Thanksgiving turkey? Anyway, so first of all, I didn't go weigh it because, well, I don't have a bathroom scale and I think it's too heavy for my postal scale, but with the fabric scraps, it makes a very dense, very heavy pillow, which might be what you want and it might not. Now, I did run out of fabric scraps. Well, the white cotton scraps, there were like long, bigger pieces in there, so I did take those and put them on my cutting mat and rotary cut them into finer shreds that they would stuff a little bit smoother. And I used all of that was in the bag, plus the other bag of offcuts or whatever you want to call it. And then I still didn't have quite enough, so this little section here is stuffed with fiberfill from an old pillow that I unstuffed. And so this is a lot squishier. If you want something lighter weight, I would suggest some kind of fiberfill and just pack it in as dense as you can. Actually, I had more. I should have maybe put more in here. But if you want it really firm and don't care how heavy it is, then the fabric scraps are a great way to use those up. So size-wise, let me see if I'm gonna stand up. So I think this is gonna work pretty well for what I want it for, to hold my arms in a nice relaxed position while I'm working and give me like a pokey surface. But I'm gonna say this to you so that I remember. So I'm saying this more to myself, but maybe you need this reminder as well. This is not a pincushion. Neither is the arm of your sofa or your chair. A pincushion is a pincushion. A needle book is a needle book. And that's where your pins and needles need to go. Again, I'm saying that because I am the worst at that. The thing that keeps me from that bad habit is the fact that I have animals in my house and I don't want a cat or a dog to accidentally get a needle or a pin in them. So it's more for their safety than it is for mine, but it's also a good reminder. If you used a bigger fabric, or if you're just lining or stuffing it with fiberfill, this is done. This is all you need to do. And I'm gonna go make turkey legs. See, this one's really wobbly because this one is the one that has the fiberfill and I didn't maybe stuff it firm enough, and this one is very firm. So it's actually a good experiment, good example. This one has the fabric scrap, so it's much firmer than this side, but ooh, she's a hefty one. Okay, but I think size-wise, for me, this works perfect. You could consider this finished. I'm gonna go ahead and try my hand at making a cover out of that gray repurposed fabric. And I may or may not put a zipper in it. Since it's stretchy fabric, I may not want to bother with a zipper. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I don't think I do. It's going to be assembled exactly the same way as the interior. And when it's done, you're just going to pull it on over like a sock and sew up the hole that she left. And on this one, my stuffing hole was on this side, but I think on the gray one, I'm going to put the hole right here in the middle so that I can pull each side on like a sock and then pull it together and sew it. Yeah, I don't need to get fancy. It doesn't need a zipper. I will go do that and come back and show you what it looks like with the cover on. Let me go do that if anything comes up that I think I need to share with you. This is so obscene. I'm gonna get struck with an obscenity tag or something on YouTube for that. So we'll put it back down here. And then we'll put it all together with the cover and see what it looks like and test it out. Okay, so I'll see you back in just a second. Well, here we go. Here is the finished project, my crafter's pillow. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. It might be a little big for some people. You probably could make this inner circle, you know, a little more circular and less U-shaped, and still, and it's, you know, then it would open up to put on. But for me, it works. It's hefty because it's nice and solid with all that fabric scraps in. This side is a little squishier, but you know, it works. What makes it a 10 out of 10 for me? Well, number one reason it's a 10 out of 10 for me is that it basically cost me nothing to make. I repurposed all my fabrics. My stuffing even was either scraps, which now my scrap bag is empty for the new year, which thrills me to no end. I used, you know, repurposed some an actual garment that I had, I cut apart. If you've looked at these craft pillows online, you know, all the different places, the price range on them is pretty wide. I think about the least expensive one I found was in the $40 range, and I found them all the way up to $80. And the $80 ones, if I remember correctly, are big, like this. $0 versus $40 to $80, I'm gonna take $0 and a couple hours of my time, every time. And I know I will use this. I know I will use it sitting in here while I'm working on projects, use it in front of the TV. It actually is even, would be nice reading in bed to hold your book or your e-reader. I do have another e-reader holder project that I did last year that I might share with you here in the future. But either way, just ergonomically, I think this is going to really be beneficial to me as I'm working, because I know this winter, early winter, I was doing so much handwork, all the hexagons and the English paper piecing and the finishing this crochet blanket, things like that, and I was getting a lot of shoulder and neck pain here, and to the point where I was almost debilitated for like Thanksgiving weekend. I could not lift this arm, and there were other contributing factors, but handwork and holding my arms up like this definitely did not help the situation, and that's where I got thinking I needed one of these. So let me know, is this something you would use? Is this something you've been looking at and for whatever reason haven't purchased one but would like one? Is it something you think you'll make now that you could see how inexpensive and simple making one is? If you do make one, I'd love it if you would share it with me at on my Instagram or my Facebook page, and I will put links to those in the description, so you can share your projects with me that way, or tag me. I think on Instagram you need to tag me, and I should have my own hashtag. I'll look into that. Anyhow, I'm still learning all this stuff. You'd think after all these years I would have figured it out, but I haven't. But or put a comment down below that you made one, you'd like one, any of that. Or maybe you got one as a gift this holiday season, and if you did, let me know if it's something that you're using. If you still have the receipt, maybe send it back and make yourself a free one. I'm just saying. Anyhow, I appreciate you being here with me for this little project, and it was a lot of fun to do, and I always love sharing these things with you. So please like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and we will see you, well, Thursdays is every other week, and if I'm not here on Thursday, then I've been here on Monday. So Mondays and Thursdays, alternating weeks, and I hope that I see you back here again, and have a good one. Peace out. Love you lots. Take care of yourself.